diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's for years, or caring for a loved one.
When Parkinson's gets real, find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO, 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 74 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 11 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police investigating after a 17-year-old male was shot and killed in downtown Pittsburgh. This happened around 12:15 this morning at the intersection of Penn and 7th Avenues. 17-year-old was shot in the chest. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police detained one person for questioning, but no formal arrests have been made. Right now, no word on any suspect descriptions. In Penn Hills, Saturday night, Allegheny County Police say at least one person was shot and taken to the hospital during a pool party. It happened near the Olympic Swim Club on Twin Oak Drive. More than 100 people were at the pool party when officers were called to the area around 10:25 Saturday night. Witnesses say they heard multiple gunshots. No word on any suspect descriptions. Person who died following a two-vehicle crash Saturday morning in Westmoreland County has been identified. Officials say the crash happened along Route 66 at Vermont Drive in Washington Township. Nicholas Grisbeck, police say, was traveling northbound on Route 66, crossed the center line, and struck a pickup truck head-on. Grisbeck died in the crash. Another person was taken to a local trauma center. The crash remains under investigation. A roofer sustained life-threatening injuries after falling 30 to 40 feet at Robert Morris University. This incident happened Friday around noon in Moon Township. Robert Morris says the contractor was working at Washington Hall. Contractor's condition unknown this morning. Well, police trying to determine who crashed their car into a parked emergency services SUV in West Elizabeth Township. Police say it happened back on May 30th. The Elizabeth Township Police Department put up videos on social media showing a woman driving past the emergency services SUV and then backing into it. Later, the woman gets out of the vehicle and assesses the damage on the SUV, according to police, and then leaves the scene. Elizabeth police are asking you to give them a call with any information on the incident. KDK Radio News Time 11:02 and KDK Sports. The Knicks are NBA champions for the first time in 53 years. ABC's Anthony Carlo outside Madison Square Garden overnight.
The New York Knicks, NBA champions, and the fans here in New York City, I mean, gosh, they are flabbergasted over this. The Knicks had such a unifying effect on this city. I don't know what these people really want other than Jalen Brunson to hold some form of elected office at this point.
KDK Radio News Time 11:03. Time to visit RomeMonuments.com. Life is a journey to remember. Memorialize that journey. RomeMonuments.com. AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang, that one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
The U.S. Treasury just released its official financial report for 2025. Buried in it is a startling admission. By its own numbers, it appears the U.S. government is insolvent. When governments go this deep in debt, they print money, raise taxes, or cut benefits, none of which can help protect you. That's why people move part of their savings into physical gold and silver. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
There will be clouds and sun today with a couple of gusty thunderstorms from the late morning and into the evening. Storms can bring flooding as well. Becoming partly cloudy later tonight. High 79 with a low of 54. Tomorrow, pleasant and less humid of times of clouds and sun. High 69. Then Tuesday, partly sunny and nice. High 73. For AccuWeather, I'm Nicole Joniak, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli.
We hear it all the time. What's wrong with kids today? We never did that when we were kids. Well, in light of several recently imposed chaperone demands, like the ones implemented in Market Square and now at Kennywood, we're more concerned about the parents. Where are they? When many of us were growing up and got in trouble, we were scared to death to go home because that's when the real consequences would follow. Many parents today depend on teachers and coaches to do all the heavy lifting. Discipline, hard work, knowing right from wrong, and integrity, which can be defined as doing the right thing when no one is looking, are values that need to be introduced and taught at home. It comes down to responsibility and accountability. If these values aren't required at home or taught at home, teachers and coaches are performing miracles to instill them. Raise your kids right and give the other mentors in their lives a fighting chance to mold them into upstanding and productive citizens.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Regional Vice President Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA, presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition, and brought to you by Leon's Billiards and more.
All right, so we were at Pittsburgh Brewing in Creighton last week because of the Rock and Regatta, but now we're all back where we need to be. Metropolitan Window Video Screen, Joe Giordano, former Pitt Panther coach, IMG Academy, lots to get to with him. And my partner, the man, the myth, the legend, the pride of Panther Hollow. He is University of Pitt Law grad and the man behind Diolis Law, Greg Diolis, and also Milk and Honey Sports Entertainment. And before we do anything, we owe this to him because he was a big fan of KDKA because of the Pittsburgh Pirates and more. Your father, Sonny, passed away, and I found out, and I know you probably told me many times, but you know me and my attention span, but we were actually born on the exact same day, January 29th. I'm 20 years younger, and if I could have a son take care of me the way you took care of him, and I've got two sons, then I know I would have lived a good life, but he was a special human being.
Well, I appreciate that, Rob. Thank you very much. And yeah, we had a good run together. And I'll miss him, but he would have wanted me to soldier on. And he'd have probably been ticked at me for not doing the show last week. He passed away Saturday night. He would have probably been mad that I didn't. He was one of those guys, you don't miss school, you don't miss work. Had that strong ethic, blue-collar guy. Woke up every morning at 6 a.m., walked up the street to his job at the Graduate School of Public Health for, 30-plus years at the University of Pittsburgh, and walked to work, walked home from work, and as soon as he got home from work, he changed his clothes and started playing ball with us kids in the alley, and whatever sport was in season, he would do it, and I'm sure he would have rather taken a nap, but he changed his clothes and got out there and, taught us some things to do, and pride and joy was his Little League coaching career, and it was funny. Joe, a fella came up to me at the funeral home, and he said, your dad taught me a pitch that had never been seen before. My dad was coaching when he was like 16 or 17 years old. He said, your dad taught us this pitch. It was called the zip-zip. he said I would get ahead 0-2, and your dad would just yell out, "Throw him the zip zip." And the guy said to me, I didn't know what it was, but I would just throw it a little bit harder. But it was just a psychological warfare thing that my dad created. So it was one of those things. He loved playing with the kids, working with the kids. It was his pride and joy.
And Greg, on behalf of my family, my deepest sympathies. Everything that I read online, and especially your eulogy, was very powerful and moving, and what a tribute to your father. And it sounded like you had the same type of relationship with your dad as I had with mine. And, we're lucky that we had those relationships. So God bless, may he rest in peace.
Thank you very much. We were quite blessed. Let's get on to some radio shows. Everybody's tired of hearing about my personal stuff. Let's go.
No, we're not. Listen, last thing. What was it with that generation and every man that was in my neighborhood and could discipline me if they needed to, even by grabbing me by the scuff of the shirt? The Pirates in KDK was a religion to them. They never missed a baseball game. In the car, outside, with the radio, in the kitchen. Pirates were always on the air. They knew everything about that baseball team.
Well, KDKA was always on the air. It was just, that was the old-fashioned, radio set that sat on the kitchen counter, and when they woke up, they put it on, and then when they went to bed, they shut it down. But as you remember, my mom knew who you were very well before you ever met her.
All right, now let's talk about maybe the zip is what Soda and Santana had yesterday. It was kind of like that high school girlfriend that got away. This bullpen lets them all get away, but they didn't do it yesterday, and they beat Miami. Cruz is out. Connor Griffin's out. Skip, get us caught up on this Pittsburgh Pirate team that needs to kind of get their groove going again. Go ahead.
Well, I think that you hit it right. I mean, the bullpen has been very uncertain over the past several games, but last night was a good one. And with both teams being at 500, it was good to see the Pirates get the win, not to fall below that 500 mark, which I don't know, maybe it's just a little bit psychological, but I think when fans and people who follow the game, when you're below 500, that's when everyone starts panicking. So I was really fired up to see them hold on to that game last night. And let's hope we have a repeat performance and get back on track and get a little winning streak moving again.
Hey, Joe, a couple of fanboy things that happened while I was at the game yesterday that kind of cracked me up. So Horwitz gets hit with a pitch to give us the go-ahead run, right? And there were 31,000 people at the game. Probably 20,000 of them start to boo as if he had been thrown at. I'm like, dudes, the bases are loaded. They just gave up the go-ahead run, and we're going to boo because he got thrown at. I don't think so. And then the other...
No, I don't think that was it.
Then the other thing was we're watching a game. One of the Pirates swings and hits a foul ball into the dugout, and O'Neal Cruz reaches out with his casted left hand and catches the foul ball. I'm like, O'Neal, are you serious? I mean, we're missing you enough, and you're going to catch balls with your broken hand.
Yeah, not very smart. I've always told my pitchers, if you ever got really aggravated and you want to punch something, do it with the opposite hand, for sure.
That's the Bull Durham Nuke LaLooch. Well, which hand did you hit me with? It was the left. Well, good, you're learning.
So some of the names obviously we know, but another person in the fold now is this Tyler Callahan. It was nice to see what he did the other night. So they got some youth on this baseball team that I think is going to be able to be more than credible baseball players once they kind of get their groove going. Greg.
Yeah, the poor guy, he hits his first major league home run, but he hit it in the river and couldn't get the ball back. That was good news, bad news.
All right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry, Rob.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think if you look at the season to this point, if anyone would say they'd be where they're at today, you'd say, hey, this is a pretty good season. But I think there's a lot of micromanaging going on, and there's a lot of youth, There's a lot of inexperience, and there's a lot of question marks. So, it's the ebb and flow of the season. And I think you just have to stay locked in for the long run, and manage the lows and make sure that you don't get into that rut where it's an 8, 10, 12 game losing streak. But just keep battling, keep taking the same approach, clean up the defense a little bit, cut down on the walks. That's the one thing that, Craig, we've talked about. On my death certificate, it's going to say base on balls, no doubt. And a lot of hit batsmen, so those are free base runners. And when you have a bullpen that's struggling, the one thing that you can't have especially late in ball games when you're either tied or have the lead, is to give a team extra opportunities.
All right, let me take a break here. But before we take a break, what about West Virginia? Even though they're the Mountaineers, let's give them some credit as far as what they're doing in the World Series. You first, Skip. Go ahead before we go to break.
I love it. I was a great friend and still am of Randy Mazey, who built that program. And obviously Steve Sabins has carried that on. What an atmosphere. I mean, I watched the Super Regional, and I was locked in. I don't want to say I was a fan because I'd get crucified for that, but it was fun to watch from a baseball perspective. And what an atmosphere. I mean, that was as good as it's going to get. It was good baseball. They battled hard, both teams, and it was great to see kind of a local team make it to the World Series, and they're doing well.
Absolutely. Just
Joe, I love to trade barbs with my West Virginia friends, so I don't know if you guys saw the heavy storm that blew through the West Virginia Regional, and it blew over a really significant tent that was there and kind of blew it down the whole hillside. Right now there's 3 homeless families in West Virginia, but other than that,
oh, boy.
That's Greg Diulis, Diulus. But they beat Troy. They're getting ready to go again. So good luck to the West Virginia Mountaineers. We have much more to get to with the skipper. He, of course, Joe Giordano, former Pitt Panther baseball coach, now doing an incredible job at that incredible place in Florida, IMG Academy. Bottom of the hour. The Knicks are the champs for the first time in the NBA since 1973. And the pride of Robert Morris, the Colonials head coach, Andy Toole, will be here. And Team USA, they beat Paraguay in their opening round of the World Cup. And we will have Micah Fitz, the women's soccer coach, joining us right after local news at noon. So we have a lot still to come today. Stay where you're at. Your Pratt Pack, Coons Market, Black and Gold Sunday Show, KDKA.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
Here's a World Soccer Championship preview.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. 2 of the top 20 teams in the current rankings are set to face off each other in Arlington, Texas. The Netherlands versus Japan. The Netherlands, who are the odds-on favorite to win Group F, rely heavily on their wingers, but must be careful not to turn the ball over to a Japanese defense that can transition quickly, which benefits their strong counterattack. I'm Fernando Carlos.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
When you're handling an estate or an inherited home, the decisions can feel overwhelming. At Homebuyers of Pittsburgh, we help families through this every single week. We make a quick, fair cash offer on the home, coordinate any cleanouts, help you through the process, and we'll buy it in its current condition. No pressure, no surprises. Visit homebuyersofpittsburgh.com or call 412-500-9057 for help selling today. That's 412-500-9057 for help selling today.
Homebuyers of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's local trusted homebuyers since 2015.
In 1945, my grandparents made sausage using the finest ingredients and a lot of love. I'm Ernie Ritchie. After 80 years, the recipe never changed. Visit our store and celebrate our 80th anniversary. Ritchie's Italian Sausage. It's what Pittsburgh eats since 1945.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Hi, Joe Giordano and then Andy Toole on the NBA and also the World Cup. We'll have all sorts of good stuff throughout the World Cup right through July 19th on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show with a young man that actually won a Division III national championship as a player for Messiah, and he's now the women's coach at Geneva, Micah Fitz. Young man's got a real good knowledge of the game, and I think you'll find it very interesting. So what do we do with Ozuna, Joe Giordano? How do we make it work, and what do we need to do with Ozuna? Go ahead.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, the only thing that I've seen, and I've watched quite a few games, and it's like, are you trying to do too much with every at-bat? I mean, if we go back, do you remember when he had that conversation with Connor Griffin? And Connor Griffin said that helped him so much. It was, hit the pitch where it wants to go. Maybe that's something that you got to go back to the basics there and just take a very kind of measured approach, know the pitch you're looking for, and when you see it, drive it. But not necessarily trying to hit every ball out of the ballpark. I think, anytime a player of mine would be slumping, I say, hit some line drives up the middle, simplify it a little bit. And I think the expectation for all of us is, Ozuna's a guy that was going to provide a lot of power in that lineup. And obviously we haven't seen that, but I think there's maybe some added pressure there, an expectation certainly, and maybe just go back to, putting the ball in the gap a little bit. When you look at last 10, 11 games, not a lot of extra base hits, and that's something, extra base hits, doubles, triples type of thing. Yep. And in watching those games, I was watching with my good friend, Coach Manasotis, former NA legend, baseball coach, and we sit there and watch the game and simply say to ourselves, hey, we just need a good at-bat here. A lot of those tight games, and let's keep in mind that we had Atlanta and the Dodgers, two of the best teams in baseball. There's a couple opportunities where, just hit the ball out of the infield, hit a sacrifice fly, hit into a couple of double plays early in a count after a walk, after some. So it's one of those things. If you're trying to do too much, don't. Just try and take a very measured approach. Look for your pitch and drive it. Don't try and do too much. Again, he's talented. He's proven that he's a power guy in Major League Baseball. But I think the expectation we have for him may be a little bit high right now. I think it's going to be there. I think he'll break out of it. But just simplify it a little bit.
Hey, Joe, I was looking at the game yesterday, and the Pirates get up in the bottom of the eighth inning. They got second and third, 2 outs, and Jared Triola's coming up. And I'm thinking, we got a pinch hit here. And Ozuna would be the guy to pinch hit, but he's not doing anything for you. But then I'm thinking, well, if we pinch hit for Triolo, I don't know that we had another guy to play shortstop because of all the injuries that have happened and the way that the roster was configured yesterday. Fortunately, Triolo worked a walk, and the rest was history with Horwitz getting hit with a pitch. But with like you said, if Ozuna could maybe just kind of record his own conversation, take his own advice, that would be the best thing that could happen to him. But a guy that's hit for so many years so well, it's hard to imagine that he's just completely lost it. There's got to be something that this hitting group can find. And one of the things, if you recall earlier in the season, they had a game in which I think they had 11 base hits, and 10 of them were to the opposite side of the field. And that seems to have gone away. They're not getting as many base hits the opposite way anymore. Maybe they need to refocus that.
We talked about that a lot. And at one point, the Pirates led the major leagues in opposite field hits. And that's something I think that was a strength at that point. That was moving the baseball,
right?
Hitting behind runners, advancing runners, putting them into scoring position with less than 2 outs. And I think you're right. I think and the thing that I saw, especially when there was kind of on the winning side, so to speak, and not the scratching ahead what's going on right now, was that the lineup was connected. You had everybody doing a specific thing within that lineup that connected those at-bats. Think we got to get back to that, just simplify it. And try and get runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs, and then come up with that big hit, that big at bat. And even with 2 outs, come up with that big hit. 2-out RBIs. We used to call them Torbies, 2-out RBIs. There's nothing greater than that to boost your team and help you win.
Yeah, and there was a great example of what you're talking about the other night when the Pirates are down 8-6. I think it was the last of the Dodger games. Pirates are down 8-6, runner at third, 1 out, and Gonzalez is up. And they were playing the infield back. All they needed to do was just put that ball in play. They got a strike out there, and that really was critical to the ending of that game.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just maybe cut down on your swing a little bit and just hit the ground ball. Yeah. Listen, it's 162 games. There's a lot of baseball to be played, and a lot of those things balance out over the course of the season. But I think with the Pirates, what was the expectation going into the season? Where are they at now? And I think where they're at now, even maybe a couple of weeks ago, is because they were doing those little things very well. Mm-hmm. And again, we talked about it. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. You got to play clean defense. You got to take care of the baseball, make the routine plays, and cut down on the walks and the hit batsmen. I think we're in good shape.
Hey, Joe, before we let you go, just one quick question for you. Did you get to know when you were at Pitt the legendary equipment guy, Mouse McCullough?
Mouse McCullough, we went to lunch down at Peter's Pub almost every day together.
The mouse was at my dad's funeral, and I just love that guy, and I figured you knew him pretty well.
So the Mouse was in the house.
No, he's the best. He was great.
And by the way, they wrap up against Miami, get a day off, then it's Oakland and Colorado on the road, then back here against Seattle. So let's start to gain a little momentum here. They're 1 game above 500 and 7.5 out behind Milwaukee. So the season is young. Skip, we'll talk to you next week, okay?
Great to see you guys again. Have a good one.
All right.
See you, Joe.
There he goes, Joe Giordano. Coming up next, the NBA champion New York Knicks. Andy Toole, Robert Morris, his head coach, drops by the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.
The Pittsburgh Speaker Series at Heinz Hall, presented by University of Pittsburgh, announces its 26-27 season. 7 evenings to deepen your understanding of the world around you, featuring Anderson Cooper, former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, historian Anne Applebaum, financial journalist Andrew Ross Sorkin, and former NASA Administrator Charles Bolden. The series is sponsored by News Radio KDKA and the Spanos Group of Raymond James. Tickets on sale now at pittsburghspeakers.org.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is Marty Griffin. I have seen so much anger these days. You know what's overwhelmed me with joy and optimism? This Get Marty. The folks in this community that have stepped up. You can't help your neighbor if you hate your neighbor. Get Marty epitomizes that opportunity to help people, feed people, clothe people, educate people. If you need me, get Marty at KDKRadio.com. It's where we will find a way to help you.
Presented by UPMC Health System, Phil DeLuceni and Associates, Cousins Roofing, Siding and Decks, and by Harold Shepley and Associates. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 77 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 11:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police still investigating after a 17-year-old male was shot and killed overnight in downtown. That shooting happened at Penn and 7th Avenues around 12:15 this morning. 17-year-old was shot in the chest, taken to the hospital where he later died. Police detained one person for questioning. No formal arrest had been made as of yet, and still no word on any suspect descriptions. Well, New York City officials plan a ticker tape parade on Thursday to celebrate the Knicks winning the NBA Finals for the first time in 53 years. Here's ABC's Anthony Carlo outside Madison Square Garden overnight.
The New York Knicks, NBA champions, and the fans here in New York City, I mean, gosh, they are flabbergasted over this. The Knicks had such a unifying effect on this city. I don't know what these people really want other than Jalen Brunson to hold some form of elected office at this point.
KDK Radio News Time 11:31. Next updates at noon. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio KDK.
Life's best moments start with perfect choices. For Connie Nowak, it was a trolley ride and a 67-year love story. A life of family, smart decisions, and companionship with Chester the cat. Her retirement choice? The Village at St. Barnabas. Recreation, healthcare, close to family, everything on her list. Plus, it's an exceptional retirement value with a flexible entry process and affordable rates. St. Barnabas Retirement Communities, stbarnabascommunities.com, or call 724-444-5568.
Hey folks, my friends at NASCO Roofing take pride in exceeding customer expectations. Joe from Pittsburgh loved the excellent work NASCO did on replacing his roof and gutters. It was a big job that NASCO completed in just 2 days with excellent attention to every detail. Joe was also impressed with NASCO's cleanup that left his home spotless. NASCO has thousands of customers that are satisfied like Joe. Get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO 412-373-2000. 412-373-2000. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing. NASCO.
Suffering from peripheral neuropathy? Learn how over 15,000 sufferers regained their comfort, mobility, and quality of life with Tri-State Neuropathy Center's successful treatment plan that is FDA cleared, non-invasive, and drug-free. Here's Sean Ritchie, DC, and Tri-State's founder about one of their many satisfied patients.
One thing I've learned about people that get numb with a neuropathy, they have balance issues, just like Bob from Gibsonia. His numbness got so bad, he started to have to shuffle and was starting to have some falls. After completing our FDA-cleared treatment program, he is doing so much better. In fact, he was at his friend's house and he was at the American Legions, and they couldn't believe the difference that they saw in him.
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help Bob. Let them help you next. Call 724-940-9000 for a free consultation. That's 724-940-9000. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy. Learn more at marydanstin.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
As parents, we have a million things running through our minds. Playdates, checkups, groceries, laundry, diapers, work, carpool schedules, picture day, swim team, did we mention diapers, birthday parties, meal prep, lost permission slips, dentist appointments, and the dog that still needs to be walked. So it's easy to make a mistake. Oh, I forgot birthday candles. Sit tight, hon, I'll be right back. We say we'd never put our kids in danger by leaving them in the car alone. Oh, wait, since when are candles not on the baking aisle? But never happens. And temperatures as low as 60 degrees can be deadly for children left behind. So always bring them with you, and every time you park the car, stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council. The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Through this afternoon and evening, watch for a couple of thunderstorms that can bring the risk for flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts. High today up to 79. Cooling off later tonight, low 54. Clouds and sun tomorrow, lower humidity, high 69. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Benz, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, hope you're having a good weekend, and be back on Monday. Tons to talk about after this weekend. Catch you Monday, 2 to 6, right here, KDK.
All right, let's get to it. 94-90, it clinched it for the Knicks, first time since 73. 16 points early on, the Knicks utilized relentless interior defense and relied on their stars to trim the lead, setting up a successful late-game run. Jalen Brunson's performance, he scored a franchise record 45, surpassing Willis Reed's previous mark for the most points in a finals game. He also hit the go-ahead floater with just over a minute left. Resilience, the team became the first to win 4 series games after rallying from double-digit deficits, including a record-breaking 29-point comeback in Game 4. Defensive adjustments by Coach Brown held the Spurs to 38% shooting. OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges were instrumental in containing the perimeter threats, limiting San Antonio's offense down the stretch. Andy Toole, Metropolitan Window Video Screen. Click on KDKRadio.com and KDK Watch. Man, I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of basketball, but that 29-point comeback was amazing, and then they do it again. So the guy that they call the little big man, Kendrick Perkins, he came up big. Only he and Isaiah Thomas, under 6'2", able to do some of the things that these two gentlemen have done. And thus, Jalen Brunson, the pride of Villanova, where he won a couple of national championships, is the MVP in the NBA final, as the Knicks are once again holding the Larry O'Brien Trophy, first time since 73. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Coach Andy Toole.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, I mean, absolutely amazing. I'm a lifelong Knicks fan, so I've gone through my fair share of difficult playoff runs, seasons, et cetera. And, you know, finally being able to watch them win a championship was incredible. And the way they did it with their defense, with their connectivity, with their comebacks, obviously with Brunson making play after play, you know, just made it that much more special.
Andy, it looked like San Antonio had the Pirates bullpen playing for them. They couldn't get a save.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You know, they're certainly going to be reviewing a lot of film in this offseason, trying to figure out how they can be better in late game situations and in the fourth quarter, because they were dominant in the first quarter. I think I saw the stat yesterday that they outscored the Knicks by 47 points in the first quarter during the series and, lost 4 out of 5 games. So, they'll be doing a lot of, soul searching and trying to figure out ways to improve. But you got to give the Knicks credit because they just never stop. They just keep coming. They just keep making plays. And even in the game last night, as it was, hovering around double digits for a majority of that game in the second half, you just knew the Knicks were going to make a run, and they did it again.
It almost, you could feel the crowd with that. It was almost like the entire crowd that was rooting for the Spurs, because there were a lot of Knicks fans at the game. It almost felt as if they were all looking in the rearview mirror, like, here they come, fellas. We're not going to be able to hold this lead. It was an emotion that was kind of unique to that series. How it seemed like the entire building kind of knew the comeback was coming.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as you mentioned, it probably was a mixed last night, but you could feel as they missed some of those jumpers down the stretch. Dylan Harper missed that layup late in the game. You could just almost feel like a here we go again type atmosphere going on in San Antonio. And, the Knicks, I think, just thrived on that. As soon as there started to be a little bit of unsureness by the Spurs, the Knicks just took full advantage and made the plays, made the shots that you needed down the stretch.
So real quick, let me jump in here. So let me ask you, De'Aaron Fox, how much do you put on his shoulders? Why didn't they go into a slowdown or a half-court game? I know you got a first-year head coach, and they played Wemby to the point I think he was just worn out, and he's not physically strong enough to bang with people like Towns. All of the above, what do you, from a coach's standpoint, Andy, what really happened that they weren't able to slow it down enough to stop the New York Knicks from climbing back into these games the way they did?
Well, I just think with the 24-second shot clock, it's hard to completely slow the pace of the game. And so you still have to try to be aggressive. I thought unbelievable job late in games of creating turnovers, contesting some of those three-point shots that maybe in the first halves they did not. And, some costly turnovers and some costly misses were really what plagued the Spurs. I think if you look at their shot selection throughout the entire game, I think good shots for a majority of the game. It was just at the end of the game, they were unable to finish those. And I think a lot of it, you got to give credit to the Knicks defense and their activity on that end, whether it was Towns or Mitchell Robinson or OG Anunoby, guys just making plays and creating havoc on that defensive side. And, it's a hard thing as a coach because you are constantly trying to search for answers to put your team in the right position. And I think, the Spurs had their opportunities. They just were unable to capitalize on them.
It was interesting watching the game last night with Brunson in particular having what probably is the game of his life.
Yeah, 15 points in the last quarter. That's pretty impressive.
And everything was going right. The way he was controlling his body. He actually had one layup with Wemby kind of on his back, but he was able to kind of control his body, jump back a little bit into Wemby to keep his arms off of him and to make a layup in a position where I didn't think it was going to be possible. I thought they kind of did what they could do with Wemby, and there was about a 3-minute stretch where the Spurs needed to give Wemby a break, and that was really critical in the game when the Knicks were able to take advantage of that time frame.
Well, Brunson's so good, all of his body control, all the different finishes he has. Obviously he's an incredible worker and can't make those kind of shots and have that kind of feel without spending hours and hours and reps and reps and reps. And yeah, I think Wemby, obviously is, this was his first playoff run, really. Last year he was out with the blood clots. In game 4, he played all but 58 seconds in the game. And I think, it did take its toll. And as physical as the series was on both sides, I think over time that kind of wore him down. He was much less effective. And you saw even in the earlier rounds of the playoffs, Wemby's aggressiveness would ebb and flow, I think, based off probably, how refreshed or recovered he felt in those games. And I heard Brunson say, after the game on the telecast that he knew that if they needed to start doubling him, that the Knicks were going to win the game, and they needed to start doubling him early in that third quarter, in that second half, because he was so good in the first that I think it just opened up opportunities for other guys to be able to continue to make plays. But he was, magnificent the entire series, obviously being the Finals MVP. That wasn't even close for a vote right there. That was a unanimous selection because he was able to carry them and make all the plays throughout that entire series.
Coach, there was probably an underrated or understated play very late in the game. The the Knicks were at the foul line. I can't remember which player it was that missed, but Wemby was trying to box out Robinson, and he didn't square up. It was almost like he was trying to box him out with the front of his body. Never got turned to get the rebound. Robinson was able to bat the ball loose, and the Knicks came up with the loose ball as opposed to really a rebound. I thought was a critical play in the game.
Absolutely. I mean, Mikal Bridges was on the line there, and Mitchell Robinson. It's part of, I think, what made the Knicks a championship team this year was guys excelling in their roles. Mitchell Robinson, obviously a bad free throw shooter, not able to be out there as much because of that free throw shooting, but able to impact the game with his defense and his rebounding. One of the best offensive rebounders in the league, goes in there and gets a huge opportunity to give the Knicks an opportunity to make that game really, I think, a 4-point game, because OG Anunoby got fouled after that. He made 1 out of 2, and that was able to kind of create some separation. But those plays are critical, and you never know when they're going to show up in a game. And Wemby maybe not doing a good enough job on the box out. Robinson, obviously big and physical, going in there and make a winning play for his team late in the game. You're correct. It was a huge play late in that game.
I'll tell you what makes a big difference in the NBA as opposed to, and I'm almost purely a college guy, Coach. That bigger key, where you've got the wider area that you have to defend as far as being low on the block with a foul shot, that makes a tremendous difference.
It really does. That offensive rebounder almost has a better angle ability to get to the ball, especially if it bounces out, anywhere towards the middle of the lane. So it's hard. And then I think the way that they officiate those plays are difficult, because it seems like guys are violating on every free throw. And so it's, just an absolute fist fight down there to try to get defensive rebounds on the free throws. And, thankfully, it went the way of the Knicks.
All right, before we let you go, so do you run it back with the Knicks? I mean, you're going to have the Celtics healthier and back. You're going to have the 76ers back. You're going to have Detroit, and maybe Cleveland ends up with LeBron. Who knows? Maybe Giannis ends up with somebody in the East. What do you think about the chances of them running it back next year? It's going to be difficult because you still have all these teams like OKC, Denver, Houston, and obviously Wemby's going to be a year older. So what do you think about the Knicks running it back, Coach?
Obviously, I don't think they're going to be they're able to constantly compete the way that they are connected as a team, and I'm sure they're going to look to kind of improve their roster as well, because like you mentioned, there's lots of competition in the East and throughout the NBA. I think that's what makes the NBA playoffs so good right now, is you have so many different teams that have stars that have the ability to win. I mean, you can't count out the Nuggets, Jokic, right? Giannis goes, that's going to be a big development. If you get a full title, that I think makes it so.
All right, listen, we appreciate it, Andy. Thanks. Safe travels wherever you are. But real quick, how's Robert Morris doing? What are you working on right now with the Colonial basketball team? Then we'll let you go.
We just got the guys back last weekend, so we had our first week of summer workouts, weights, and on the obviously 11 new guys on the team this year. So a lot to get them up to speed on, but we're excited about the group, and we're happy that we're got them all here on campus and ready to start it and build them into a hopefully championship contending team just like the Knicks.
All right, we appreciate you. Thanks, and big day for New York, and the parade's coming up on June the 18th, this Thursday. Short break. Back a little bit more about the NBA, because Rob Taylor is definitely want to get into this conversation. We're going to let him spend a little time with us, and then we talk World Cup soccer with Micah Fitz, the women's soccer coach at Geneva, and Ted is back talking the NFL. So we have a lot more to do before we're done today at 1 o'clock on the Coos Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, KDKA.
When you need to know, depend on the news leader. At home, in your car, or at work. The voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM, AM 1020, and KDKA-radio.com.
The biggest reason Metropolitan Window Company has been in business since 1978 is our huge list of satisfied customers.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, Pittsburgh's locally owned and family-operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you're getting expertise and attention to detail from a trusted business that puts your needs first.
You're also getting our exclusive Infinity from Marvin 100% 100% fiberglass windows that are built for life.
The most important part of a window is the framing. Fiberglass frames won't lose their dimensional integrity. They're the strongest, longest-lasting window you can buy.
And right now, you can save 20% and get financing on every window and door product we offer.
Stop by one of our showrooms, visit us at metropolitanwindows.com, or give us a call at 412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand, so shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, there was no way I was going to do this show without letting this guy, probably the most hardcore NBA fan I know, especially in Pittsburgh, Rob Taylor. We've been talking about the Knicks. Biggest story in sports, even bigger than the World Cup, and that's why they call it the city that doesn't sleep, because nobody probably has slept. The parade's coming up on June the 18th, so Greg and I are going to just sit back and let you pontificate. So how were they able to do what they did time and time again, snatch victory from the hands of defeat? Go ahead.
Well, we had talked about how the Knicks had closed it out easily in that in whatever the closeout game was against the 76ers, and then when it was 3-0, we thought maybe the Cavs could maybe get Game 4, and the Knicks just crushed them. But we thought, okay, well, the closeout game, Game 5 last night, the Spurs probably going to have a lot of heart. They're going to be on their home floor. But see, this is just a different built Knicks team. I mean, they have heart, they have passion, and remember that the Spurs, like you said, have the Pirates bullpen. They can't hold a lead, but the Spurs are young, they're inexperienced, and talent can take you far. But there is a difference between me and Rob Pratt on the radio. Rob Pratt's got 40 years of experience and can talk about whatever. I may be limited in my experience. So I'm the San Antonio Spurs and Rob Pratt's the New York Knicks. So they were able to come in to that, quote, hostile environment, even though there were a lot of Knicks fans there in San Antonio. And you could see they were chipping away because when the Spurs had that 15, 16-point lead midway through the second quarter, Brunson found his way, and it was just a 5-point deficit for the Knicks at halftime. So when you saw that, I think it was 42-37, you knew as an NBA fan that if the Spurs were going to win this game, it was going to be at the last second. They weren't going to blow them out in the second half. That's exactly what happened. Knicks came back and took that 4-point victory.
Rob, I was intrigued because, as I mentioned to Andy Toole, I'm more of a college guy, right? So I don't watch as much of the NBA. But they used to be, as a casual fan, you would say, well, nobody plays defense in the NBA. They play some horrific defense. I mean, those guys bang and the screens, the picks, and fighting through picks. They work themselves to a tizzy. I don't know how anybody plays 48 minutes of that basketball.
Well, unless you're James Harden, most of these NBA players, they can play defense, right?
Yeah.
They can. Now, in the regular season, they're just shooting the ball up and down, and maybe you might get some defense late in the fourth quarter. But, I mean, these are the best of the best in the whole world. They can play defense. So when it's time for them to play defense, you see that they can play defense. Look at the scores of these games, 94-90.
Right.
I remember, I was thinking about that score because the Cavs beat the Golden State Warriors in Game 7 in 2016, 93-89. Wow. And this game was 94-90. It was that type of defensive game. So when you get into these finals, you get deep into these playoff runs, these players know, and the coaches remind them, that defense is going to win championships.
It's still basketball is basketball, though. Do you notice guys still missing foul shots in the NBA, coming down the stretch? Both teams miss critical foul shots down the stretch, and I'm thinking, man, you could have changed the outcome of that thing just making that 15-foot shot that's uncontested.
Well, I think Wemby missed a free throw down the stretch. Mikal Bridges missed a free throw down the stretch for the Knicks. But just going back to Wembanyama, those three-pointers that he's taken late in the game, I mean, he's as Rob Pratt said, you got to get down low. The Spurs, they already have Vassell. They already have Castle. They already have De'Aaron Fox, who really played a bad series, shooting from the outside, Champagnie. Wembanyama has got to learn to play inside. Now, Rob Pratt saying there could that the Spurs are going to need a big guy, but do they have enough money in the cap to pay Wembanyama top-notch money,
right?
Keep a couple good guards, and then pay another big man down low?
And Rob, like you're saying, he's big enough to play the post. I mean, I mean, maybe they need to talk him into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, you're 7'5". We can't get another big, so you got to step up and put on those big boy pants and get it done.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. I'm sorry, Rob. They had that one dish to him. He was coming on the baseline, and he dunked the ball coming across the baseline. I'm thinking they needed a little bit more of that. Instead of him hanging out at the three-point line the whole time, getting loose and then coming down and crashing harder to the glass. But how are we to criticize? They lost the game by 4 points. It came down to...
Listen, and in closing, I'd love to see the Knicks do it one more time. And I know a lot of people saying it's going to be tough because you got LeBron in the mix. He could go to San Antonio, would work great with Wemby, and he's 6'9", so he'd give you some of that physicality. But this Jalen Brunson dude... I'm telling you, he's a gunslinger, man. This guy's doing stuff I haven't seen since the 80 Celtics and Showtime. I mean, he can drop it with either hand. That fadeaway jump shot, that one-handed left-handed pump shot, you can't stop it. It's like Kareem's skyhook. Mm-hmm. And that's what Wemby needs to develop, some sort of shot in the paint that's almost unstoppable like that skyhook was.
Yeah, right. What is Wembanyama's signature shot? We don't know. It's not down low. It's not a turnaround J. It's not a three-point shot. But before we run out of time, Rob, you were saying that Jalen Brunson was in the state championship game in Chicago. You said that the Villanova coach Jay Wright knew that he was going to be special because Jalen Brunson was in the state championship game in Chicago. 5,000 people were there. But here's the real story. Jay Wright said that those 5,000 people were all rooting against Jalen Brunson. And Brunson still prevailed. So that's when Jay Wright knew that this guy was tough.
Wow, good stuff. Well, we are happy today the Knicks have won.
I am happy about that.
Me too. It's good for the NBA. I just can't believe they do things big in New York. This story, I mean, it was like nonstop coverage. And I think viral is the best way to describe what I saw on social media. I couldn't go anywhere, any platform, without seeing story after story about the Knicks. So pretty special stuff.
Yeah, and there's a few less school buses in New York City. I think they said about 3 or 4 of the school buses on fire. There's a few less
Couches,
yellow
school
cabs.
buses, was it?
Well, in
a
a
few
way,
less NYPD cars.
in a way, if I'm the mayor of New York and the city police, I'm kind of glad they clinched it in San Antonio.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Rob's coming up next with the news. Then we're going to come back and talk World Cup with Coach Micah Fitz, the head women's soccer coach at Geneva. That's next. KDKA.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Hall of Fame broadcaster Bill Hillgrove, we need to get you as the cover boy for an effort to reignite the regatta. You could do this by barefoot skiing coming down the Ohio River towards the point.
I swam in the Allegheny, and that was enough of that. Now, water skiing, you stay out of the water if you're good.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for moms.
Here's a World Soccer Championship Team Spotlight, brought to you by the first ever Infiniti QX65 and by Lowe's. Give your yard its own moment with the new limited time deals from Lowe's.
Australia's Socceroos are a combative, never-say-die side built around European-based players hungry to prove themselves. Their athletic midfield and a clinical forward who can finish in tight spaces make them more than capable of upsets.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The amount of compensation received from a lung cancer or mesothelioma lawsuit varies. But at Pittsburgh-based Goldberg, Persky & White, the goal is simple. Maximize your recovery and ensure you receive the full compensation you deserve. Asbestos manufacturers spent decades concealing the dangers of asbestos exposure, and today, many suffering from lung cancer or mesothelioma are fighting back. You are not alone in this fight. Call GPW today at 1-800-COMPLEX to learn more.
Hey, this is Lisa. You'll only find me at Nest Expressions Window Fashions. Blind shades, shutters, and draperies are my passion. Call me 724-933-5500. NestExpressions.com.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 78 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police continue investigating this afternoon after a 17-year-old male was shot and killed early this morning. It happened downtown at Penn and 7th Avenues around 12:15 this morning. 17-year-old shot in the chest, taken to the hospital where he later died. Police detained one person for questioning. No formal arrests have been made and no word on any suspect descriptions. Allegheny County Police say at least one person was shot and taken to the hospital during a pool party Saturday night in Penn Hills. Police say it happened near the Olympic Swim Club on Twin Oak Drive. More than 100 people were at the pool party when officers were called to the scene around 10:25 Saturday night. Witnesses say they heard multiple gunshots. No word on any suspect descriptions. Police trying to determine who crashed their car into a parked emergency services SUV in West Elizabeth Township. Police say it happened back on May 30th. Elizabeth Township Police Department put up videos on social media showing a woman driving past the emergency services SUV and then backing into it. Later, the woman gets out the vehicle and assesses the damage to the SUV and then leaves the scene, according to police. Elizabeth police are asking you to give them a call with any information on that incident. Well, today is Flag Day. And many Pittsburghers may not know that the National Flag Foundation is in downtown Pittsburgh.
It was brought here many years ago to highlight the importance of our region in history, ranging from the Revolutionary War through the Industrial Revolution, and even now with energy.
That's the foundation's chairman, Romel Nicholas. On the Big K Morning Show, he talked about its mission.
Its mission is simple: to educate about the American flag and honor those who serve to protect it.
National Flag Foundation is located at the Coppers Building downtown. KDKA Sports, Pirates just a few minutes away from first pitch. Yep, it's a 12:15 first pitch today at PNC Park as they wrap up their series with the Miami Marlins. KDK Radio News Time, it's 12:03. The AccuWeather forecast coming up next.
Here's the tale of the daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap GoodRx, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang, that one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
The U.S. Treasury just released its official financial report for 2025. Buried in it is a startling admission. By its own numbers, it appears the U.S. government is insolvent. When governments go this deep in debt, they print money, raise taxes, or cut benefits, none of which can help protect you. That's why people move part of their savings into physical gold and silver. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Hey, want to do dinner with us tonight?
I don't know. The kids just left. I think we're just going to stay in tonight.
Oh, come on. Don't miss out again.
Miss out on what?
Catching up with friends. The sounds of winning. Celebrations. Endless laughs. And memories they'll never forget. Don't just hear about the fun. Time moves fast, so go have it. Rivers Casino. Don't miss the moment.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-777-1979, 800-777-1979, or biglou.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Watch for a couple of thunderstorms through this afternoon and evening that can bring the risk for flooding, downpours, and locally damaging wind gusts. Our high today up to 79. Cooling off later tonight, low 54. Nice for tomorrow, some sun, high 69. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Benz, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition. And brought to you by Leon's Billiards and more.
All right, joining us now in the Metropolitan Window video screen, a young man that I had a chance to spend some time with at Coons Market last week, and we're going to be going live on Facebook this Wednesday around 5:30 to get you caught up just before the Team USA goes against Australia. But his name is Micah Fitz. He's the women's soccer coach. He was hired in 2023. He started coaching in the fall of 2024. He went to Messiah, where he won a national championship as a player, Division III. And we have him right now with us to talk World Cup on KDK's Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Coach, how are you today? A big win for Team USA, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pumped. Thanks for excited to be here. We drove downtown to Pittsburgh, watched it. So 4-1, great result.
All right, Greg Dallas is the other man you see in the screen. He, of course, Dallas Law, Milk and Honey Sports Entertainment, been my partner for a long time. So I'm watching some posts from different people that I know, and Jason Ritchie, who happens to be the lieutenant governor nominee on the Republican side, chair of the Republican Party, mentioned something today that I should have brought up with you, but I'm going to do it now. So Pulisic from Hershey, Freeze from Wayne, and Trusty from Medina, all three from Pennsylvania on Team USA. So let's talk about those three from Pennsylvania. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Austin Trusty, obviously, so he plays in the Premiership in Scotland's great player, center back. Didn't necessarily make an appearance. Christian Pulisic, who's probably our most notable player, I would say, plays for AC Milan, touched on that a little bit. Thought he played really, really well, obviously had kind of the opening, what you'd call assist. It ended up being an own goal, but really, really dynamic player. And I'm trying to remember, so the third one you brought up from Medina, who was that?
That is Trusty. Said Austin Trusty is from Medina?
Yeah, so Trusty, center back, good player. I think all in all, and again, I think Matt Freeze was the other one.
Freeze is from he's from Wayne. He's from Wayne.
Yeah. So up in that area as well. And there's question marks of whether he was going to start or not. Matt Turner's our other option in net, and both have kind of made appearances. Wasn't called into question too much, but thought overall he did a good job of just organizing. I thought defensively we were sound, and that's usually pretty much credit to the goalkeeper.
All right, so I saw Christian Pulisic talk after the match saying he thinks he was going to be okay, but what about the calf injury and your thoughts about moving forward before we look back at the win against Paraguay, going against Australia on Friday? You think he'll be ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope, obviously. I haven't necessarily looked too much into it, to be honest with you. I think the halftime sub was a little bit of a question mark as to why that may have occurred. Obviously, coming out that a little bit of a knock is never something that you want to hear about. So, obviously, I think initial thoughts were that it was something that was nagging him. It wasn't a tactical substitution by any means. And obviously, someone that we lean on a lot. He played in the wide areas, which is something we haven't seen a ton, and so definitely someone that would be helpful to have on that regard.
All right, before I throw it over to Greg, Florian Balogun, officially the undisputed striker, answered any of those remaining doubts with a stellar 2-goal performance. His clinical finish led to a 9.1 rating in the team's opening triumph. He really did shine, did he not? Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a stellar season with Monaco in Ligue 1 in France. Got on the score sheet multiple times in that. I think there's been some question marks with him from the U.S. men's national team, whether he was going to be that goal producer that we had set in stone. But he kind of answered all those questions in the result. I thought his first goal was really, really high quality, and his second goal really high quality individual performance. Great finish with his left foot. Really excited about seeing him against Australia as well.
Coach, the United States really couldn't have asked for a better opening game. They really weren't expected to dominate the game in general, in the first half in particular, the way they did. From what I understand, they were actually a slight underdog going into the game, and then to jump out like they did. I was watching the game with my daughter, and she was almost feeling badly for Paraguay, saying, "Oh, these poor guys get all the way to the World Cup and then just get blown out in the first half."
Yeah. Paraguay's a good side. I mean, I talked on it initially on Thursday about Julian Enciso, whether he was going to play or not. He made an appearance. I thought he was dynamic. We talked about defensively, Paraguay being a good side. Struggled, I think they sat back, which is something I talked about that I thought that they were going to end up doing, which I think kind of shot themselves in the foot in terms of that. I think pressing is important, and they didn't do that a lot, and obviously suffered the consequences. And 3-0 going in at halftime is really difficult to climb themselves out of.
Come on now, Greg. How good is this young man? He's solid, man. This kid's got some game.
Oh, you're talking about coach?
Yeah, man.
I thought you were talking about somebody on the U.S. team. I'm thinking, wait a minute. I know nothing about this sport. I'm lucky I got a question.
Every once in a while, I do have that Midas touch, okay? And this young man, from the moment I met him, he's solid, and Geneva's lucky to have him. So I'm really stoked about having you here. We're going to keep you for another segment because this really is a big story. Yep. It's got worldwide implications. So let me ask you about what they did against Paraguay and moving on to Australia. And we're going to talk more about yesterday into early morning action, too, some of the other teams before you get out of here. Yep. But can they maintain this defensive structure? Do they have enough depth to be able to do that moving forward? Because their defense was lights out in this opener against Paraguay.
Yeah, absolutely. And good question. I think depth's really important. I touched on that. I think they have some players that can come off the bench and certainly help. I thought Chris Richards was brilliant throughout the game. Again, I touched on whether he was going to be ready to go or not. When he came out in the starting lineup, I think that was a big thrill for everyone. He's center back for Crystal Palace, so obviously plays at the world-class level. I think Australia is a good test. I stayed up and watched a little bit of their game against Turkey last night. They're a high-energy team, high-tempo, not necessarily any world-class players by any means, but hopefully good result there, and not looking too far ahead, but depending on how the results set up, a win against Australia, would lock in certainly a top 2 spot in the group and potentially win it from there. So really looking forward to that.
All right, I got a question. You guys got to it gets me up on the news here. Now, what's the story with? Is it the Iran team that is allowed to come and play in the United States, but they can't stay overnight after the game? Is that the travel ban, or is there something like that?
Yeah, they're not in the United States, but they are able to play.
Okay.
But with the possibility of a peace deal, maybe they'll let them stay at a Holiday Inn outside of where they're playing. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring them here. All right, so what about this effect? Group D momentum, collecting 3 points and scoring 4 goals in the opener. The most the USA has done and ever scored in a single World Cup match, gives the squad immense confidence moving into the challenging fixture as we move forward. So what does that do for them? Group D momentum, collecting 3 points and scoring 4 goals. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, and I think important note is goal differential, and again, I don't know if that'll play a ton in this group, but goal differential is one of the biggest separators in terms of if we were to be tied in points with anybody after the group play. So 4-1 separator against Paraguay. I don't necessarily know if I see any other results in our group that has a 3-goal spread. Maybe Turkey with talent-wise, Arda Güler could pull out some goals and create a spread with that. But certainly lets other teams know in our group that we're not a team to mess around with, and hopefully teams around the entire group or around the entire World Cup sees, hey, we're not someone that can be messed around with.
So that's because the first 2 in every group go through to the knockout round, and then some of the groups get a third. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So
Okay.
top 2 automatically advance, and then 8 third place out of 12 will advance as well.
So enough with our questions. Let's just ask you from the heart, being a former national champion player and now a coach at a Division III school with the women's team at Geneva. What did you think of that performance? Was it shocking to you that they did as well as they did?
Yeah, and in all honesty, I didn't expect that. I thought we'd win that game. Thought we'd win it by maybe a goal or 2. Certainly not as comfortably as we did. I thought Mauricio Pochettino, our coach, was world class with some of his tactics. We were able to exploit kind of the seam spaces. If you went back and watched the game, we were able to really exploit kind of what we would call a half space in soccer. So kind of a line spread in between the 6-yard box and 18. We played a lot of through balls into that area. We actually, Top Balogun scored a 2nd goal. Ball played in through the seam, cut it back and finished with his left foot. So I think really well done on that regard. And yeah, I certainly didn't expect a result like that.
All right, we'll talk about some of yesterday's action that spilled into early Sunday morning when we come back. He is Micah Fitz. He is the women's coach at Geneva College, and he'll be joining us every Sunday in this time slot right through July 19th. And he and I will be back at the Coons Market in Hopewell to go live on Facebook to talk everything that is the World Cup this coming Wednesday at around 5:30. So stay with us. More to come. Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, including Ted Arnaud back in the air chair. Life in the NFL beginning right after that local news update at 12:30.
Now more than ever, we're the station you can trust for the information you need. KDKA.
Here's a World Soccer Championship recap.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. Brazil versus Morocco was everything that was expected between a 5-time champion versus a semifinalist from the last tournament 4 years ago. Morocco dominated early and opened the scoring in the 21st minute. Then Brazil tied it up in the 32nd minute with an outstanding goal. And the result was a 1-1 draw. I'm Fernando Carlos.
I'm with Joe Potocnik, JP Roofing and Siding, with an exciting opportunity.
Normally, Larry, we offer $500 off any complete roofing and siding replacements. For our spring promotion, we're offering an additional $500 off.
Joe, that's $1,000.
That's right, Larry.
You better call today. The roofing experts, JP Roofing and Siding, 412-829-7711, 412-829-7711. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Larry.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
In 1945, my grandparents made sausage using the finest ingredients and a lot of love. I'm Ernie Ritchie. After 80 years, the recipe never changed. Visit our store and celebrate our 80th anniversary. Ritchie's Italian Sausage. It's what Pittsburgh eats since 1945.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, women's soccer coach at Geneva, Micah Fitz is with us. We are talking the World Cup. So results from the overnight 2026 World Cup matches, 13th through the 14th. Qatar salvaged a late 1-1 draw against Switzerland. Brazil and Monaco battled to a 1-1 tie. Scotland secured a 1-0 victory over Haiti. And as we mentioned, Australia was a winner as well. That, of course, the next opponent for Team USA. Some of those matches and your thoughts, Coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, Qatar versus Switzerland was a bit of a surprise at Qatar, the 2022 host, so they automatically qualified for the last World Cup, but surprising that they got in for this World Cup as well. Switzerland's actually a team that to keep an eye on. I think a lot of people have talked about how impressive they were through qualifiers. So for them to pull up a draw against Qatar, a little bit disappointing on their part, but awesome from the Qatar standpoint. I can obviously talk about Brazil, Morocco a ton. That was a game that a lot of people had circled from a group stage play. Morocco kind of bouncing between 7th and 8th ranked, just internationally overall, and Brazil obviously as the 6th spot. So really, really good game there. Scotland, Haiti, again, two nations that don't qualify all that much. Scotland, obviously a passionate soccer nation, but I thought Haiti hung tough. So 1-0 result for Scotland, really important as they're kind of within that mix with Morocco and Brazil. And then, Australia 2-0 result against Turkey, phenomenal for them as well.
So, Mike, the directors of the World Cup kind of taking the direction of the NCAA basketball, were expanding the field, right? So when you mention these countries that don't always qualify or hadn't normally qualified in the past, they had a bigger field in order to be able to get in this year. Am I correct?
Yeah, so qualification's a little bit interesting and tough to follow at times. So the way they break it down is essentially by certain continents. So Europe obviously has a certain number that can qualify. Kind of the Oceania is grouped in with Asia in terms of qualification. So they get some teams to qualify as well. So it's kind of why you see some new nations. So expanded from 32 to 48 teams. So touched on today, newcomer, it's their first World Cup they'll play against Germany. And I think it's just really cool to see some of these passionate fans. I think Haiti, you're watching the game last night, were really loud in the stands. I think it's really cool to see some of those teams that haven't been in the World Cup and see their passion. So yeah, it's really awesome to see.
It's also pretty cool the way that the games are spread out all over the country. So you get different, everybody else gets a different flavor of where to be and the individual game. So the United States starting out in Los Angeles and now going to Seattle, I think.
Yeah.
Seattle. It's Seattle.
Yeah. So and again, I think that's awesome. I think break it down. It's tough for us to stay up late. I know staying up and watching a midnight game is tough, but I also can't imagine that from the player perspective as well. We're watching it on TV, thinking that it's easy for them. They also have to fly back and forth and deal with time changes and staying at base camp. So some of these teams are. United States is in California, so them switching back and forth from coast to coast is really tough as well.
Yeah, but hey, come on, Coach. They're not staying in some podunk place. They better be staying in some good spots and getting some good meals out of this thing.
Yeah, certainly. Again, I don't know. I tracked some teams' base camps and where they're staying. Obviously, it changes a little bit. But yeah, 5-star hotels. I'm sure that they're being fed well and traveling and resting. So yeah, nothing to blame there. But still, it's a little bit tough every once in a while.
They're eating a little bit better than the Geneva women's soccer team. I'll tell you that right now.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know. They got that D&J pizza on down there in Beaver Falls. That's pretty good eating. Hey, let me ask you, though, because there's always a soccer fan born every second, and they fall in love with it, and they get involved in the sport, and if they're young enough, they start playing. This World Cup can be a catalyst, and I was mentioning about the NBA with the Knicks winning. It's going to renew a lot of interest in the National Basketball Association. The average fan, just as we speak, falling in love with it right now. What are some of the things that they need to know and how the game is ruled and how it works, and maybe some things to look for? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the biggest aspect for me is just the speed of play and the high pace of the game. And I think that's why a lot of fans fall in love with it. I think there's debate to be had whether people like the hydration breaks or not. That breaks down the game a little bit more with that. But I think the high speed of play is something that's fascinating. I think it's obviously something to be embraced by fans. I think I touched on last week, you'll see a lot of man-to-man play, which I think speeds up the tempo. And so I think one thing for a new fan to be watching is just the high pressing, high tempo, high speed of play. I think Morocco did that especially well yesterday. I thought that was a fascinating game. But yeah, I think that would be something to keep in touch if you're a new fan of the game.
I think one of the beauties of soccer is that there aren't hundreds of rules that you need to follow. It's basically put the ball in the net, don't touch it with your hands, and you're pretty good. It took me a little while to try to explain to the family the offside rule, because that's, I don't know how new that is to soccer, but that wasn't always part of the game. But it really does create a little bit more fairness to the game.
Yeah, offsides is a historical rule. I think there's been some tweaks with it, and so I don't know how I would explain offsides to just without showing pictures.
Right.
It's essentially, and a little bit of trick to play is it's you cannot be behind the second to last defender once the ball's been played, and that's a little bit tricky because the goalkeeper is also considered a defender, and so it's the rule breakdown's the second to last defender. Another rule that's kind of tricky. Is what's I going to say with that is penalty kicks and VAR. So I think that's a little bit interesting. That's new to the game. And the rule I was going to bring up before I had a mind blank is passing the ball back to the goalkeeper. And so you'll see that a little bit with the World Cup as well. When the goalkeeper receives it, when the ball is played with the player's feet, they can't pick it up. But you'll see a lot of players head the ball back to the goalkeeper and they can handle it. And so it's a little bit of a tricky rule. That's probably the newest rule that's changed soccer. So that was in the late 90s that they added that. Typically, you could just pass the ball back to the goalkeeper and they could pick it up and distribute. But they got rid of that rule because a lot of teams would waste time by just stepping on the ball and passing it back and letting the goalkeeper pick it up. So those offsides and passing the ball back to the goalkeeper are two big rules that I think have really changed the game.
After I had a chance to catch up with you, I was thinking about my origins and really soccer. And I told him, I used to watch Pele on ABC's Wide World of Sports, and obviously the women's team as well, the Olympics, all of that stuff. Did a little play-by-play soccer back in the day. But then it hit me, with your father passing, this is what I started. This is how my mind works, Coach. I started thinking about some of my friends whose parents were immigrants who came to this country after World War II, and many of them became bricklayers and plasterers and laborers and carpenters, but they also grew up playing soccer. So one gentleman in particular, who was an Italian immigrant, actually kind of started the soccer program at a local high school back home. And he became the coach and drove the kids around in the station wagon, took them to the park to practice, kind of got other immigrants to form teams. So that's where a lot of these traveling teams in high schools eventually got soccer teams, because of people who came to this country post-World War II who loved the sport so much, wanted to actually get it started here in the United States. So it's kind of neat when you think about those seeds that were planted at the end of World War II, how many of those seeds are the reason why we have soccer this day. Pretty cool.
It is cool. You just described a gentleman from Oakland named Leo Pasquarelli who did pretty much that. He loved soccer, and not too many other guys in Oakland knew much about soccer, but Leo, and he took such great pride in, I guess it's maybe 20 years ago when Italy did win a World Cup, and he was so fascinated by that.
Yeah, so the coach kind of reminded me, and I brought it up to him. Italy needs to get it going again. It's still kind of hard to believe that they just can't get it going in the right direction because there's been some great, it's been a long time, as Greg mentioned, but man, there's been some great players out of that part of the world, right, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, traditionally they've been a really strong defensive team, and they have some very historical Hall of Fame players. Just in terms of that regard, I talked about their goalkeeper now, Gianluigi Donnarumma, is probably one of the world's best. But yeah, they've just struggled in recent history. They had Andrea Pirlo, who was a star midfielder for a while, and that's a guy who carried them. But yeah, just recently really struggled to kind of have that star player. And one thing that you saw from the Brazil-Morocco game yesterday, where I thought Morocco dominated for a portion, Vinicius Jr. scored an unbelievable goal, and that's just a world-class player that I think Italy's kind of lacking right now that would push them into that next stage to get back into the World Cup.
Man, you did a great job. Very impressed. I will see you on Wednesday at Coons Market around 5:30 in Hopewell when we go live, and we'll do it again next week. And I cannot thank you enough, and Van Zanink, the athletic director, for helping make this happen. Nothing but continued success. I think you are going to be a success. We appreciate you, Coach, very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See you Wednesday.
Come on,
Thanks,
Greg.
Micah.
Come on, man.
He was good. I thought you were going to drop a Giorgio Canoli on us there at the end.
Giorgio Canoli. I mean, that kid, man. I've been around a lot of talented people, but that kid's in the zone. Geneva's got a good one there. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. NFL, something I know a little bit more about next.
Hi, folks. I'm with our good friend John Diagardi from Rome Monument. John, you were telling me earlier that people really should not rush into choosing a memorial for their loved one. Now, why is that?
We found that families need to take ample time to grieve first. Grief is not something that we get over, but rather something that we learn to live with. So the length of time to grieve varies from person to person.
You mentioned that the monument can't be placed right away.
That's right. There are certain things that need to take place before a monument can be installed. So it's really worth taking time to think about how to plan and design a memorial that truly reflects a person's life. It's actually a healing activity that helps to alleviate grief.
John, this makes a lot of sense.
It does. And when the time is right to proceed, not only can Rome Monument help families choose and design their memorial, we can help them save as much as 50% by eliminating the middleman.
Thanks, John. Folks, you can learn more by simply visiting RomeMonuments.com.
While you sleep, there are people you've never met who are working hard to make your morning. People who get up at ungodly hours to make sure you get the information you want. People who dedicate their lives to make yours better while you sleep. These people come together during the Big K Morning Show with Larry Richert, 5:30 to 10 in the morning, to make sure you have the best news, traffic, and weather to start your day. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 78 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police continue to investigate the death of a 17-year-old who was shot and killed overnight in downtown. Shooting happened at Penn and 7th Avenues around 12:15 this morning. He was shot in the chest, taken to the hospital where he later died. Police detained one person for questioning. No formal arrests have been made. Still no word on any suspect descriptions this afternoon. And the person who died following a two-vehicle crash Saturday morning in Westmoreland County has been identified. Officials say the crash happened along Route 66 and Mamont Drive in Washington Township, where Nicholas Grisbeck, according to police, was traveling northbound on Route 66, crossed the center line, and struck a pickup truck head-on. Grisbeck died in that crash. Another person was taken to a local trauma center. It's unclear their condition. The crash remains under investigation. KDK Radio News Time. It's now 12:31. Next updates at 1. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio KDKA.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
A
small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds, and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you, with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou, because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-777-1979, 800-777-1979, or biglou.com.
Hi, Paul Alexander here to let you know that KDKA has planned a fabulous 5-day Arizona getaway this September, and it's filling up fast. My wife, Shelley, and I want you to join us for an unforgettable trip based in beautiful Flagstaff, a relaxed mountain town that makes the perfect home base. From there, we'll explore the incredible red rocks of Sedona, travel by rail to the breathtaking Grand Canyon, a bucket list spot that everyone needs to see at least once. And then we'll take in the stunning scenery around Lake Powell with its deep blue water and wide open views. It's the perfect mix of sightseeing, natural beauty, and plenty of time to just enjoy where we are. And September is truly the sweet spot. Comfortable weather, no summer crowds, and everything planned for you. No guessing, no stress. Just show up and enjoy Arizona. Space is limited. Seats are disappearing quickly. Visit travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Again, travelwithkdk.com or call 800-383-3131. Can't wait to see you there.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Through this afternoon and evening, watch for a couple of thunderstorms that can bring the risk for flooding, downpours, and localized damaging wind gusts. High today up to 79. Cooling off later tonight, low 54. Clouds and sun tomorrow, lower humidity, high 69. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Matt Benz, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
Hi, this is Larry Richard. Join us Monday on the Big K Morning Show, 5:30 until 10. The world awaits for a peace deal. We'll have an update, plus our weekly visit with Lenny McAllister.
All right, let's get Ted back. We missed him last week, but he's back on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show. So I had to actually ask Greg this before we brought you on the air to verify, because he's the only NFL agent I know. Joey Porter Jr. eligible new deal. I saw a price of $30 million, and I went, is that real? Is that possible? And Greg, you said?
It's well-deserved, and yes, it's possible and is very much likely to happen. And that $30 million is not a total. That's per year.
Yeah. That's why you're the agent. Yeah, $30 million a year. So, Teddy, is he worth it?
Yes. I think he's really one of the linchpins that the Steelers are going to rely on. I think he's gotten better. He's had penalty issues, and I think that's improved. So I think he's going to be one of those key components for the defense this year.
Teddy, one of the key reasons why you notice him is because you don't notice him. Teams are starting to stay away from his side of the field. But one of the things I like about him is that he'll come up and support the run a little bit. He's not one of those guys that's hands off. He'll get up in there and make some plays for you that can make an impact on not just pass play. So I think he is a very valuable piece, and I would be all for a nice contract extension for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's good on some support run. I mean, that's not his primary focus,
right,
but he has improved every year. So I think that's the key.
Yeah, and much like what we see with and we haven't talked, Ted, since the Steelers extended the Herbig or extended Herbig's contract.
And Darnell Washington.
That's right, and that's Ted's guy, right? Yeah, that was a big one. So two good news type contract things for the Steelers, and one of the things that you never really hear about the Steelers is they don't spend enough money. I mean, Omar is given kind of free rein to make sure if you keep us under the cap, do whatever you can to make us better.
I agree with you. That it's been those are two great extensions, two great players, fan favorites. I just hope Darnell Washington's leg is better and that he comes in. You know, when they were talking to him, he said, "Well, I'm really going to concentrate on blocking." But I don't believe that's true with Rodgers. I think he's going to be an outlet for Rodgers the whole season.
So, I was hearing about Highsmith maybe being the odd one out, but now I hear that he might stay. How do you think that will unfold now that Herbig has got a deal that will keep him here for a while? Ted?
I like it. They've got a good group of guys right now. I think they're some of the best linebackers in the business. So I would like to see him stay around. You always got to have extra, and you can always, as we know, Watt sometimes takes a player or two off, and you need to have somebody in there that can fill the role. And they're going to be moving Watt around. Who knows where he's going to wind up lining up? And Greg has always told us how many plays he takes off.
I'm going to back off on that this year. I think I was a little too harsh on old TJ. I think I'm going to be a little bit more kinder in my older age.
So these two guys that they have taken in the first round over the last couple of years, Mad Max this year and then Troy the year before, where do you see these offensive linemen fitting in this year, and will they be major contributors? Teddy?
I think they're going to fit. I don't know if they're going to be major contributors, but you need to have backups on that offensive line. Those guys have a tendency of getting hurt. You've got a lot of players with those two that can rotate between positions. So I really like the way their offensive line is heading up. And I think having backups or having guys who maybe even come in and start, you're going to have a good rotation group.
They seem to have really now they're at the tail end of the off-season program. They've gotten through it. Had some chances to see guys in different positions, maybe kind of structure some things so that they have as they head to training camp have a new look, a different look, and have gotten a chance to see everybody. Now, hopefully, you get another 6 weeks of Broderick Jones getting healthy and having him in the mix. If he's in the mix with the rest of these young offensive linemen, it can be a pretty good group of guys.
Yeah, and we know that just what happens to Jones. These guys have a tendency to get hurt. You need rotational players.
So Stephon Diggs' name has come up now. Is there any room for him on this football team, Greg?
When you get to, you're through the off season now and you start thinking about, like, did we create some chemistry already? Do we have what we need? A talent like that, there's probably always room for a talent like that as long as there's enough footballs to go around.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this, and Ted's got this psychology degree, so he can jump in. So we just talked about the NBA championship today. My Knicks get it for the first time since '73. I'm a fan of the NBA. I'm a fan of professional athletes. James Harden gets arrested today with some illegal weapons. He, of course, recently with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and tremendous basketball player. Why is it that it seems as though, speaking of football, the great Plexico Burress changed his life forever? What's the thing about guns and athletes, Greg?
I really don't think, Ted, unless your experience is different, I don't know that it's different than society. I mean, it's just some guys like to have guns and unfortunately don't always get them registered. So it's just a microcosm of society.
There's no way you can go 1 second, Ted. There's no way you can cover everything, but do you at least try to tell these athletes, look, there's some rules of the road that you got to play by, and hey, this is one and this is one. And then Stephon Diggs got in that issue with an altercation that obviously he was acquitted of. I mean, it's just kind of ironic because they have so much. And even like driving under the influence, that they could hire somebody. So just overall thoughts, and then Ted will chime in, and then we'll get back to some other stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, in my line of work, I think one of the things that you have to be careful of is, stay in your lane.
Right.
There's certain things that are, appropriate to address, and other things that, it's none of our business. So we do try to talk about, making sure you stay safe and be smart about all of the things in your lifestyle. But, I'm not our guys' parents. They've been raised, and they know what's right and wrong.
All right, go ahead, Teddy.
Well, I think, it's not the gun, really, that's the issue. The guy's going to draw a lot of attention, so I can understand personal protection. We've got laws for that, but do it right. Make sure you follow every rule. Make sure you've got your training. Make sure you've got everything, so that as you do become a focal point on these kinds of things, you can at least check those boxes off and say, look, I have this, but I've done it right.
And guys, back in the day, guys were doing these kinds of things.
Yeah.
They were getting arrested or investigated by police, but it wasn't making the news. The police were taking care of it, in a different fashion than they are today.
I agree. All right, listen, before we take a break and come back and just kind of wrap up this very long day and obviously finish with the NFL. Teddy, this farewell tour with Aaron Rodgers, how do you think it's going to mesh with the first year of Coach McCarthy being back in his hometown? Will it be a marriage made in heaven, or could it be a nightmare? Go ahead.
Well, it's one of those marriages that you get divorced and you get remarried. And so those can always be a little bit tricky. But I think those two know each other. They have communication between each other. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really fun to watch how those two work together this year. So I'm seeing something that I think is very positive.
I love having the Mike McCarthy around and doing the Pittsburgh things that he's been doing. Seeing him at hockey games, seeing him at Pirate games. I mean, he's one of us.
He looks like one of us. He acts like one of us.
Yeah,
you got to love him, man.
Two of us.
Yeah, he does. He does. And, man, you can just tell. He knows the game, and he knows how to talk to these quarterbacks, and his track record speaks for itself. Stranger things have happened, but I kind of like what I'm looking at right now. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Ted Arnaud back with us. Always good to have him back. Greg Dallas is here. We're talking the NFL as we always do in the final couple of segments, even during the offseason, because it's the brand that never sleeps. Coons Market, Black and Gold Sunday Show, KDKA.
When the weather turns bad, turn to us for the best news, weather, and traffic information from the KDKA Radio Storm Center. Presented by Duquesne Light Company. Larger than light. Online and on the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
My friends at NASCO Roofing take pride in exceeding customer expectations. Stephanie from Murraysville used NASCO for minor roof repairs. When a storm created substantial roof damage, she called NASCO. NASCO worked with Stephanie's insurance company and installed a beautiful brand new roof. NASCO has satisfied thousands like Stephanie. Get NASCO on your roof. Call NASCO Roofing, 412-373-2000, 412-373-2000. Most jobs done in a day. Special financing available. NASCO Roofing. NASCO.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
I'm Piera Palazzolo,
VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, one more segment talking the NFL with Ted Arnott, so I'm going to let you begin this segment. Go ahead.
Oh, man, you jumped on me because I've been paying attention to the Pirates game, so I wasn't thinking.
Tell everybody about the Pirates.
Pirates, Paul Skeens gives up 2 solo home runs in the top of the second, so the Bucks are down 2-0. Ted, turning our attention to, what's going on in the NFL and what's happening with the international aspect of the game. What are your thoughts as far as, do you like the fact that teams are giving up a home game to go over and try to make the game more worldly?
Are going to have to step up and have a game like that to make the brand a bigger and better international brand. That comes down to business and marketing. I mean, it's not unusual that everybody's going to have to chip in and try and create that international atmosphere. Do I like watching games overseas? Not really. I like watching U.S. fans watching U.S. football. But, I can understand the business aspects of it, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm just a little ticked because you get a 9:30 game. We don't get to watch it. We got to be preparing for this, and then the second half starts, and we're right in the middle of our show. So it makes difficulties for us personally. And I'm a record every game, but when you watch a game that's been recorded and you already know what's happening, it's not as much fun.
No, it's not. It's the live actions where it's at, and. You have to say that they've done a good job building the brand. We were kind of one of the first groups, I think, talking about the streaming of football and where it's going and where it's continuing to go. And I think, that's all part of that same build the brand concept and looking at as the head of the NFL, your job is to create the biggest brand that you can. You got to say that their franchises have done nothing but explode in value under his leadership.
I'll say one thing that's kind of unique about watching a little bit of this World Cup soccer coverage is that there's no commercials. Because the game never stops. There's no breaks. It's kind of refreshing to watch a game where you don't, you go 45 minutes of play without any commercial interruption. So it's been kind of unique.
Well, some of those soccer games there, you would almost look to have a commercial rather than what's going on the field.
Well, so let me
may be a tad more interesting.
Spoken like an American.
Let me make a comparison here. You got the World Cup, and whenever our football goes over there in front of their type of football, meaning soccer fans, they turn out in large numbers. So I think Roger Goodell and company have said, look, the people that they bring, and obviously we're seeing it now with the World Cup, let's not think anything but taking our brand and trying to, dovetail in on some of that revenue. But my question is this, Teddy, if we ended up putting a conference in Europe, would it be as consistent as it is when they splash down in Australia or when the Steelers splash down in France this year or as they splashed down last year in Ireland? Could our game be consistent week in and week out with the same teams on a regular basis throughout Europe or in one particular part of another country? Will it have the same consistency that it has in our country?
I don't think so. They've got competing sports, obviously soccer being the one, or football, however you want to say it. I think it's a one-off event. It's kind of exciting. It creates a lot of interest. But I don't know having a separate a conference over there would really work at all.
Makes you wonder almost if like the international game, if you created some type of, and this would be years down the road, where you have a separate league like they do in soccer, but then you come together every multiple years and have a World Cup type of event. But it's football games are so unique in the fact that you have to play them, and there has to be some separation of time, even though they've condensed a lot of that time. What the Steelers played 3 games in a scope of 12 days or something last year. So you see that happening more and more. But I just don't know how you change it to that extent. But I think there are going to be some crazy changes, but not within the time period that we're still fans.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but you have to look and see what's happening in college football and how they're trying to reorient everything in college football. That's really, in my opinion, taking some of the smaller schools and moving them out. Would that really kind of be what would happen to another conference, and how could it fit in? Even the old AFL didn't fit in. Yet they had to merge with the NFL to make it really work. So I like what we calling me old school, but I like the way we have it. I don't mind a one-off over there every now and then, but I like American football right where it is.
Yeah, and I don't hate the one game a year, each team playing one game internationally. It gives a unique flavor to it. I just don't like that morning game. They got to figure out a way to work on the timing of it.
All right.
Send them over to Japan. It'll work out.
Yeah, there you go. We can watch the game tomorrow.
Reverse it. We'll watch it at midnight.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, if I'm playing in Australia and that whole jet ride and jet lag and trying to come back, and I know they said they have figured it out and they're going to get more time to get over there earlier and get them a bye week, but that can really throw your algorithms off. I don't know. We'll see how it works. But I do love the idea of going to other countries and soaking up some of the culture. All right, one last thing. Chris Boswell gets the new deal. Another Mr. Automatic, kind of like the guy who was called that, Gary Anderson, many, many years ago. My question is this. Just like the NBA, they say there's too many three-pointers. It's too easy now. These field goal kickers are becoming automatic, and not just from 45, not from 50, but even further. Do you think maybe the NFL is going to have to reconsider how far you can be when you attempt a field goal? Because it's getting to the point that, you know what, you put the ball back in the hands of somebody who has a decent kicker, more times than not, they're going to defeat you, especially when it's late in a game or in overtime. Ted?
Well, they have played around with the football itself to change some of the dynamics, and maybe they have to go back to the way it was. But I like field goal kicking. I like extra teams. I like that whole concept. But you're right. I mean, it's getting to be a little bit too automatic, and maybe they just need to adjust something that wouldn't take a whole lot of science to do.
Ted, there's been a movement afoot to try to create a 4-point shot in the NBA or college basketball. Another line for an even longer shot.
With that from the refreshment stand.
They would, yeah. But I was thinking about this. It might be a way to encourage teams to go for fourth downs more often if you made field goals more valuable the closer in that you are.
That's a unique idea.
So if you make a field goal between the 10 and 20, it's worth 4 as opposed to 3, or you can't go any higher than 4. But just to kind of make sure the teams are kind of going for it a little bit more. Teams go for it more often anyway now. So
all right, good stuff. Listen, Ted, always a pleasure. Great to have you back. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good week. Okay.
All right, guys, have a good one.
All right, so your dad, we would always talk about what's on the menu. I got to tell you, it's been kind of rough for me, too, from afar. I love that guy, and he became a very big part of my life. But he just had that personality, man, that he just embraced people.
Yeah, it was funny. Some of the people at the funeral home. There was a kind of the four horsemen that were in his grade school graduating class. So St. Regis grade school class of '51: Bruno Sammartino, Dan Marino Sr., my dad, and a gentleman named Steve Sparty. Those are the four that I know of that all graduated from that class. And Steve is the last guy left. I was talking to his daughter Antoinette at the funeral home, and those guys were a unique breed. They were some hard scrabble guys.
No doubt. We love you, Sonny. Rest well, and tell your bride we said hello until we meet again. Stay with us. News coming up next.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
Life's best moments start with perfect choices. For Connie Nowak, it was a trolley ride and a 67-year love story. A life of family, smart decisions, and companionship with Chester the cat. Her retirement choice? The Village at St. Barnabas. Recreation, healthcare, close to family, everything on her list. Plus, it's an exceptional retirement value with a flexible entry process and affordable rates. St. Barnabas Retirement Communities, stbarnabascommunities.com, or call 724-444-5568.
In 1945, my grandparents made sausage using the finest ingredients and a lot of love. I'm Ernie Ritchie. After 80 years, the recipe never changed. Visit our store and celebrate our 80th anniversary. Ritchie's Italian Sausage. It's what Pittsburgh eats since 1945.
I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know, taking care of your mind is taking care of everyone you love. Love your mind. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company. Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh, W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 79 degrees now at Pittsburgh International at 1 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. Pittsburgh police continue to investigate the death of a 17-year-old who was shot and killed downtown. This happened around 12:15 this morning. 17-year-old shot in the chest, taken to the hospital where he later died. Police detained one person for questioning, but no formal arrests have been made. Right now, no word on any suspect descriptions. in Penn Hills Saturday night. County police say at least one person was shot and taken to the hospital during a pool party. Police say it happened near the Olympic Swim Club on Twin Oak Drive. More than 100 people were at the pool party when officers were called to the area around 10:25 Saturday night. Witnesses say they heard multiple gunshots. No word on any suspect descriptions. A roofer sustained life-threatening injuries after falling 30 to 40 feet at Robert Morris University in Moon Township. This incident happened Friday around noon. Robert Morris says the contractor was working at Washington Hall. Contractor's condition is unknown this morning. Well, Flag Day officially is today, and many Pittsburghers may not know that the National Flag Foundation is in downtown Pittsburgh. Not Philadelphia, not Washington, New York, not Boston. Pittsburgh.
And it was brought here many years ago to highlight the importance of our region in history, ranging from the Revolutionary War through the Industrial Revolution, and even now with energy.
That's the foundation's chairman, Romel Nicholas. On the Big K Morning Show, he talked about its mission.
Its mission is simple: to educate about the American flag and honor those who served